The decision to declutter my space was born out of a moment of overwhelming realization. I stood in the middle of my living room, surrounded by stacks of books I had long since abandoned, clothes that no longer fit my life, and trinkets that had lost their meaning. Each item whispered stories of past aspirations and forgotten dreams, but they also screamed for attention, creating a cacophony of chaos that clouded my mind. It was time to take action, not just for the sake of my home, but for my very self. As I began this journey, I felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. The first step was to confront the physical manifestations of my emotional baggage. I decided to start small, focusing on my desk, a space that had become a mausoleum of unfinished projects and outdated plans. I cleared everything off the surface, placing each item into one of 3 boxes: keep, donate, or discard. The act of touching each object sparked memories that were both sweet and bitter. A half-finished journal reminded me of my intentions to write more, while a stack of old receipts symbolized the clutter of my financial worries. I felt a wave of nostalgia wash over me, but alongside it came a growing determination to let go. As I sorted through the clutter, I began to notice a shift within myself. With each item I discarded, I felt lighter, as if I was shedding layers of a heavy coat I had worn for too long. I could almost hear a voice inside me urging me to keep going, to delve deeper into the corners of my life that had become neglected. I moved from my desk to the closet, then to the kitchen, each space revealing more remnants of a life that had become too complicated. The process was cathartic. It was as if I was peeling back the layers of my identity, exposing the core of who I wanted to be. The emotional release was profound. I found myself laughing at old photographs that captured fleeting moments of joy, but I also shed tears over items that represented lost relationships or dreams that had fizzled out. Yet with every tear, I felt a sense of closure. I was not just decluttering my physical space, I was also confronting the emotional clutter that had accumulated over the years. I realized that the mess around me mirrored the chaos within my mind. The more I cleared, the clearer my thoughts became. As days turned into weeks, the transformation of my space became a reflection of the transformation within me. My living room, once a chaotic blend of mismatched furniture and disorganized piles, began to breathe. I replaced the clutter with a few carefully chosen pieces that brought me joy: a comfortable chair for reading, a small plant that thrived in the sunlight, and a shelf displaying only the books that truly inspired me. With each change, I felt a growing sense of peace. The room became a sanctuary, a place where I could retreat to find solace and clarity. The psychological effects of this journey were equally profound. I began to notice a shift in my mindset. With fewer distractions around me, I found it easier to focus on the tasks that mattered. I started to prioritize my time, dedicating moments to creative pursuits that had long been overshadowed by the clutter of my life. The simplicity of my environment allowed me to cultivate a sense of mindfulness. I became more present, appreciating the small joys of each day: a warm cup of tea, the sound of rain against the window, the laughter of friends. Decluttering my space also led to a newfound sense of purpose. I began to reevaluate my goals and dreams, stripping away the noise that had clouded my vision. I realized that the clutter I had accumulated was not just physical. It was a reflection of my indecision and fear of commitment. By simplifying my environment, I was inadvertently simplifying my life. I started to engage in activities that aligned with my values, seeking out experiences that brought me fulfillment rather than distractions. The process of decluttering became a ritual of self-discovery. I learned to let go of the need for perfection and embraced the beauty of imperfection. I started to appreciate the things that truly mattered: relationships, experiences, and personal growth. I became more intentional in my choices, whether it was the clothes I wore, the food I ate, or the people I surrounded myself with. The act of decluttering had opened a door to a more authentic version of myself, one that was aligned with my true desires. As I continued this journey, I also recognized the importance of maintaining the clarity I had gained. I developed a habit of regular reflection, checking in with myself to ensure that I was not allowing new clutter to creep back in. I created a system for managing my belongings, making it a point to evaluate my possessions regularly. This practice not only kept my physical space tidy, but also served as a reminder of the mental clarity I had fought hard to achieve. In the end, the journey of decluttering my space became a powerful metaphor for the journey of decluttering my mind. It taught me that simplicity is not just about having fewer things. It is about creating an environment that nurtures my well-being and supports my aspirations. I emerged from this transformative experience with a renewed sense of purpose, clarity, and peace. The clutter that once overwhelmed me had been replaced by a sense of possibility, and I felt ready to embrace the future with open arms. Decluttering was not merely a task, it was a profound act of self-care. It allowed me to reclaim my space, my mind, and ultimately, my life. Each item I let go of was a step toward a more intentional existence, one where I could focus on what truly mattered. I had not just cleared my physical surroundings, I had created a sanctuary for my soul. In that sanctuary, I found clarity, peace, and a renewed sense of purpose, ready to embark on the next chapter of my journey.